Jordan. Is this how we're gonna start? This is how we're gonna start the new conspiracy hour show.
Just coming out hot.
Or is it just one show? We don't know. The whole thing's a conspiracy. That's the point of the show.
Hey, you never know. Maybe we did a show and you just didn't know it.
That's right. That is right.
Just in another dimension.
Jordan, 7 a.m. my ass. It is 7 a.m. on the dot. We are never late here on the 7 podcast for any reason whatsoever. We never push back shows. That is a conspiracy theory. I gotta get the words. Do you ever do any vocal warm-ups, Caleb? I see you as a big vocal warm-up guy.
No. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? That's all I got.
I need to do that.
The tip of the tongue. I don't know what it is. The tip of the tongue that hits the teeth. Something like that.
Tip of the tongue on the teeth.
Tip of the tongue that hits the teeth.
Not with that sexy depth of field. Yes. Thank you. We're still rocking with the pep link here at the gym.
Oh shit! Really?
I had the setup yesterday and just kind of ran it for a few minutes in the on the gym floor just to test it out. And dude, it's kicking. It's doing well. Fine. I'll take my tinfoil hat off. No, don't put it on. What are you talking about?
You're gonna need it for this one.
This is the show for that. Judy. Good morning, Matt and Caleb. Good morning, Judy. Lael Kamen. Epstein did not kill himself. And you did all the workouts in the open.
Oh.
Do we have any CrossFit conspiracies? Oh, there's another tongue twister to warm up to. Oh boy.
CrossFit conspiracies.
Man.
I don't think so.
Other than Kale Lehman. I mean,
yeah, that's still kind of like nobody really knows. We all just assume. I think there's evidence out there, but it just depends on who you talk to.
There is definitely evidence out there, and who conspired? I mean, why wasn't he removed from the leaderboard? Insufficient evidence?
True.
I don't know.
Because he's a mill guy. They don't want to get him in trouble.
I don't know. Sevon pitcher is clean. Dude, I moved it unlisted, but I did just a quick test yesterday, and it looked really good. I spun the camera around so you could see out to the gym and the people moving to see if it would turn them into Atari figures or slow down, and it did not. So you can go check that out. It's unlisted on the back end. So yeah, we have the Kale Lehman CrossFit conspiracy. Obviously, my favorite conspiracy is the NSCA and how Coke meddled in the purchasing of CrossFit.
Ooh.
And this one's hot off the press here from Sev on the Sevon podcast. News coming at you quick. Yes, the company ain't selling.
Really?
Whoa.
So? Well, that's interesting.
Well, let's okay. We could dig into that before. We'll start with something lighthearted before we get into Epstein.
It's a good start. It's a good warm up.
We'll start lighthearted before we talk about Eric and Kirk. Yeah, I've been hearing lots of rumors now that the company isn't selling. The main rumor is the fact that nobody's saying anything. It's just quiet.
That's been kind of weird, right? Like there was a big old buzz for a couple months. Actually, probably this whole year was a buzz about it.
Yep.
And then now, new fiscal year, maybe the books have been
new fiscal year. Look at you, dude.
The books have been changed. The books came out. Everybody's looking it over, and they're like, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Jumping ship left and right. Here's the other thing, so we could just pile on the conspiracy. I've been seeing a lot less Malik lately.
Oh,
I saw a lot of Malik posts. I saw a lot.
What's his bullshit?
They were very vocal. Yeah, Move Max. Is Move Max still a thing? I mean, I bet he's still moving, but it's not publicly a thing. At least not that I could see anymore.
Let's see. Move Max official. Pull this up.
But wasn't Sousa making the biggest buzz? And now he hasn't said anything. You know what, Jonathan? Don't you drag me to this conspiracy. All right?
Because he doesn't have anything either.
That's how misinformation starts. People get hurt, Jonathan. People get hurt.
Oh, interesting. Last thing he posted was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay.
No stories. It's pretty much dead over here. He was pretty consistent.
Who bought Sousa? Okay, listen. You make one deal with you make one deal with Netanyahu, and next thing you know, everybody's throwing you in that circle. Yeah, this is very interesting. You know what? Do you think that okay, let's just put a couple things in perspective. One, we've heard nothing from CrossFit in a while. It's just been quiet.
True.
Two, Dawn is completely MIA. Like I haven't.
Is that like abnormal though?
It's not completely abnormal, but usually there's like something. But I guess to your point, Caleb, like usually it's forced, right? Like usually it's because he has to make a statement about something. And the last
Yeah.
like official statement he made, if I'm not wrong, is about the sale of the company, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I think. Well, didn't he mention something? Didn't he say that he was like, "Yeah, we're in the process of selling the company" or something like that?
Yes,
Oh,
he did come
interesting.
out and say that. And so we have that, which might come back to really bite him in the butt, because if you publicly announce that the company is for sale and that you're looking at bidders, and then we see Malik get really, vocal about potentially buying it and how close he is and everything else, and then all of it falls through, what does that tell you? I mean, either the books weren't looking that
Yeah.
great after the fiscal year, as he said there,
Everybody's getting
or
furloughed.
or Malik didn't necessarily have the cash that it took to buy it. Three, CrossFit is only worth 50 million. It's
Oh
a
yeah.
very
I mean, I
interesting
could buy
number.
CrossFit.
It's just
So,
chump change at this
come on,
point.
it's no big
Just
deal.
chump change. Um, that's going to be interesting. And you know what? This isn't the first time that they've got themselves into some hot water by saying, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and do X," and next thing you know, they don't. And what I'm talking about the first time was kind of the transparency with the Lazar Dukic tragedy of the games,
True.
and they were going to be completely transparent about that and everything else, which was already just kind of silly to say in the first place, because how can they be? There'd be investigations, potentially pending lawsuits, like
Right.
other internal people could be involved in those. We know none of that's true now, but at the time they didn't know that.
Right.
So that's very
You
interesting.
have to imagine, like, if you were to investigate anything, you're never like, especially the death of somebody. Like, if it was like something like Lazar, like
Yeah.
you're never gonna get any of the nitty gritty information about that to like nobody outside of the attorneys,
Right.
like the CEO, whatever. Like, none of that stuff's gonna come out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just so to say that to begin with, like, oh yeah, we're gonna be completely transparent. Like, it's a little ludicrous. Like,
It
why
is.
are you
Like,
are you dumb?
yeah, that, you know what? That is that's a great point. Like, why say that in the first place when you know that that's not even a possibility from the jump? Like, you should just assume, like, I mean, even us knuckleheads over here at the Seven Podcast know that that was bad. And
Right.
you figure Dawn would at least understand that as well, that hey, we can't be as transparent as all you guys want us to be, because there's a lot of pending things in this, and you should know that.
Right.
The barbell spin over here, making his comments, is this the High Rocks watch along? God, could you imagine? Like, what else would be worse than that? Watching paint dry. All right, guys, and the paint is getting slightly drier as
It
they're
would.
running their next 1,000-meter. It looks like they're just running really fast at a security line in the airport. That's what
The
that
only
reminds
thing
me
that
of every
would make
time.
that fun is if Hunter was racing, and then we could just watch him body check people.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I would really watch that.
man, they're lucky they have him, Hunter, and they did shit
He's
like that.
the
Otherwise, yeah,
right. He's the only personality in that whole whatever the fuck that is.
yeah, yeah. What hybrid athletes?
That's right.
Rambler, CrossFit lost value. Yes.
I was gonna ask about, so since they started this new, like, they kind of revamped their media.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really been paying attention too much, other than the fact that they've been posting more, and I've kind of enjoyed what they've been posting, like their YouTube videos, but with the that firefighter, like their like podcasts that they've done with police officers and firefighters and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With the media that they've been producing in that realm, do you think it's change the trajectory a little bit? Like, do you think they see some sort of light? Maybe not the end of the tunnel, but they have like a little semblance of hope because they've started getting back to their roots a little bit, and they're kind of trusting their own team again. Or do you think that changes anything?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that once they put that campaign out there, if it wasn't for Jenna and the team pushing that along in the way that they did, that probably would have never come to life. And I do think it got a really great response just across the board. I mean, outside of a few naysayers, but you're going to get that regardless of what you do, right? That's just life. Like, there's going to be a cohort of people that are just like, that's bad. I think that it gave enough momentum and enough excitement behind that piece that came out just directly after the games that they were able to spin it into a bunch of podcasts and conversations after that. It did kind of rally the base quite a bit. The question is like, are they going to be able to have the support internally to keep that going on a large scale? But I do think that it changed the trajectory a little bit. Yeah. So you have all these spin-off derivatives now. And I do believe that was Tyson Oldjoint, his team that put all that together underneath.
He's kind of been, he's like OG, right? Like, he's been around forever. He kind of understands what, like, I feel like he's been suppressed
for sure.
As a career, as a producer, content creator, whatever the fuck you want to call him. They haven't used him to the fullest extent of his ability.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of seeing that again, right?
I completely believe that as well too. Like, you're only going to be able to do so much without the full backing of the whole entire company, and everybody's really compartmentalized, like bad, to where they're all siloed off, and sometimes the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And when you have something like the sell of the company happening right now, the hard part about it is they're all like afraid. Like, everybody's jockeying for position. They don't know what to do. Like, should we push this forward? Is it still going to be around? Am I going to still have a job in 6 months? Like, there's so many different factors that go into that team being able to execute that. Who knows if they were to have, hey, here's all the budget. There's no constraints. Just run with your ideas and make it work. Right. We don't know. We don't know exactly how that would pan out, but I do believe that if you give it to people that have what you refer to as institutional knowledge, like Tyson Oldjoint and these guys that have been around for forever, and you just told them like, hey, invigorate the base and do what you know what to do. And you do what you know how to do. Go for it. I think they would produce some really great stuff. I think they would replace some really great stuff. Mexican Godfather. The only thing worse would be a solo Caleb show.
LOL. I would just stare at you people. Just wait to say something.
Hey, that was actually one of my shows in real life. Oh my gosh.
Maybe you'll get one of those one day when both of these guys are traveling or something.
Dude, you would crush a solo show. Are you kidding me? And then people would just say something in the chat, and that would be it. You would just start ass pounding people, and then that would be the whole show. So people would just start trolling you. It would just be an hour of ass pounding.
We can talk about the military-industrial complex.
Oh,
it'd just be so fun. Interesting.
Yeah. So, what do you think? You think they're going to give us news soon, or at this point they're just going to sit tight? Like, how do you make an announcement after that? Hey guys, we're for sale. Everybody knows that it's kind of Malik that's in this front running. We're hearing rumors of a bunch of other bidders coming in, and now all of a sudden Malik's kind of quiet. CrossFit's really quiet, and they're going to come back with what? Oh, just kidding. JK LOL, guys. We're not selling the company.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I think a lot. If you put out enough content, I guess, or you just make people forget about it, and you just still like, I don't know how to, like, if you just stop talking about it, people will forget about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then if you stop giving people the reason to believe that a sale would be better for the company, or like that the sale would like do something, then people will be like, oh, okay, well, the product we have now is pretty good, so why would we bother? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, fuck, dude, I don't know. I'm a big dumb mill guy.
I just think that maybe everybody counted their chickens before they hatched. Maybe we saw that with Malik's side. Maybe he thought he was able to come in at a really high bid that was going to, appease what CrossFit wanted to sell it for, what Berkshire wanted to sell it for. And then when that didn't materialize, and maybe they showed in the books, and the books weren't quite there as well, they lost a lot of these other bidders. We don't hear much, and I don't suspect we will. But Moelis has kind of like disappeared. Maybe there was an issue once it moved to the
who was that
banks.
guy again? Keep hearing that name, but I don't remember who that was.
So Moelis is a bank; it's a company, and they were basically like what I think of them as is like the real estate agent, and so they kind of were the go in between to help find other bidders, and then they were going to get a percentage. So they were incentivized to not only find people that wanted to buy the company, but then on top of that, try to get them to pay for it at the highest price so they could take a percentage. And and I obviously they failed at that, but here's another twist. Maybe everything's quiet right now because the sale is in this last finalized stage, and they're signing on the dotted line. And within a week or so here, we're going to completely have to eat our words. And they're going to say, hey, this is the new buyer. We just finalized everything. It just got real quiet because it was right at the end.
Right.
Probability of that is probably 0.
I just hope if there were, you know how what is it? What's the saying? The devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Yes.
Like, I know I don't really care for, I'm not a change guy. I don't like anything that changes.
Change scares me.
Yeah, right. It's like, so like right now it's fun. Like, it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, like Don can be a little hermit crab and not say anything, and everybody else can go about their business and keep promoting CrossFit the way that it should be and getting as many people as possible into the affiliates and all that shit. But I don't really care for somebody to come in and just make it worse. Make it something that I don't like. I don't really care for that. So if it does happen, I'll be sad.
It will be. I thought I was getting information. It's just somebody getting scheduled here. I was hoping that we were going to have some breaking news, and it's not breaking news at all. This is very interesting here too. The CrossFit Journal made $2 million a year and pulled in 90% of the traffic to .com via SEO. It is still not turned back on after 6 years.
That's
of disaster.
What's a good point about this, about having the CrossFit Journal, which I 100% agree that needs to come back, is you have people like this guy that Hiller did a video on the other day. This absolute moron who has no idea what he's talking about. I know I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the guy with the PhD from the PhD mill. I don't have a PhD. Yeah. I don't have a PhD. I don't intend to get one, but I know he's retarded. And if you have people like that, which there are so many of them, by and large, who come out here and just start slinging slander all over the place about CrossFit, you don't have somebody or something for people to fact check that off of.
Right.
You have the CrossFit Journal. You have something like, oh, hey, that's really crazy that this guy would say something like that. Let me do a quick Google on CrossFit, and then I'm going to find the journal, or I'm going to find something else that is similar to that. Maybe some research that CrossFit has done, or maybe a Greg Glassman talk, or maybe something that the Red Shirts have put out, whatever, that contradicts that and also explains in detail why that's wrong. Yep. Like when Dave took the time to start talking about the calories in, calories out versus it's like we have protein, fat, carbs for a reason. There's a reason that nutrition is the bottom of the pyramid, and it's laid out in the CrossFit L1 the way that it is. Like, that's no bullshit. It's backed up. Like, oh, none of this is peer reviewed. None of this is blah, blah, blah. You think any of that peer reviewed bullshit is even real? They're peer reviewing COVID vaccine research, and none of that was even valid. That was all pencil whipped. All of that was pencil whipped.
Bought and paid for. They have no defenses. I completely agree. And on top of that, even if they were going to do it, they're afraid to really say anything that might rub people the wrong way. Right. So instead of doing what Hiller did and just dismantle it word by word, you could do it slightly different with a different style and a different take. But yes, you need some sort of defense. Otherwise, you're just this floating carcass that's slowly being picked at by everybody.
Right.
So then by that time, you're just like, okay, you're not going to defend it. And then everybody's just going to keep piling on. It's absolutely fucking just, it drives me nuts. Yeah, the slander slinger. It's that banded thing or whatever that dude had.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was stupid, by the way. Whatever that was.
It's hilarious because then they just push products and dumb shit like that. It's
Right.
like he says stupid shit about CrossFit, contradicts himself completely, clearly hasn't looked into anything.
Right.
I mean, and then at the same time, he's gonna then push like that stupid ass product as if like that's gonna do anything besides put money in his pocket and sell it to a bunch of lazy fucks that don't actually want to work out. So what do? They grab a little band, a rubber band, and a pole, and they start pushing it around all over the place. Like that's stupid. And they probably set that at a price point where people that'll be motivated to start their fitness journey will spend just that much money to have that shit sit in its closet and never be used.
Yes, it's like the Bowflex bullshit. It's all that stuff. Except the dial dumbbells were probably the most innovative thing they could have made. I used those religiously when I was in high school.
Yeah. He's gonna buy CrossFit. Yeah, but yeah, just like he bought that PhD.
Dude.
I got a PhD too. Pretty huge dick.
That's right.
Just like they bought Sousa. You're really pushing that, aren't you, Jonathan? You're really, really pushing that.
It's weird, man. Shit's weird.
Chase said something up here. This was another one of our wild conspiracy theory. It's not that wild, Chase. You're just saying that to protect yourself. The NSCA secretly financially backed the private equity firm to buy CrossFit and kill it. Wouldn't that be something? We've talked about that quite a bit, and I believe that to probably be more true than not. And we're seeing it materialize right now. It was paid at such a high price, backed by a company that was formed and then dissolved shortly after the sale. What ended up happening is Greg had the NSCA. He was going to bury them in all the corruption that came along with it. And shortly after the company was purchased, the case was settled and sealed, so nobody in CrossFit could talk about it ever again. Don't bring it up. And then shortly after that, the company that was formed to back the private equity was dissolved. I don't think that's I don't know. That's not really
that happens way more than people think.
Yep.
And not just like definitely in our space, definitely in like the CrossFit fitness world. But think about like I don't know, some drink company or like anything else, dude. It'd be so easy.
There's two major players in the fitness industry, and this is one of my favorite quotes by Greg, is Coca-Cola and CrossFit. And now maybe not even that anymore. Yep. And when you look at back in the past of what Coca-Cola has done, it is publicly known. There's tons of evidence. They've been caught red-handed, pun slightly intended, multiple times of setting up these front companies and the fact that they're going to be funding all these science. And you remember the little thing called the Global Energy Network Balance? They literally had doctors, and this was, and you could find it. I think if you type Global Energy Balance Network, CrossFit, they actually took the doctor that was paid for, or the scientist rather, that was paid for by Coca-Cola. It's a fat dude. Holy shit. Didn't expect that, did you? Air horn early in the morning. It was a fat guy, a scientist that sat there and literally said, oh, well, we don't know. The science isn't necessarily out on obesity. It may not be caused by sugar. It may not be caused by our products. And it was a freaking joke. And you know who else backed this? The Obamas. Where's Sevon? Get the fuck out of here. By the way, you guys need to sign up for Sentinel right now, because after 1,000 members, the price goes up. Or December 1st. So get it in for $20, the best program on the freaking market right now. And if you get in at that price, you're going to be grandfathered in. So
allegedly, they'll give you like 1,000 workouts or something.
And you get the hotel workouts.
Hotel workout bullshit, yeah.
Stay fit. So make sure you guys do that. Yeah, Global Energy Balance Network was a US-based nonprofit. There it is, nonprofit. And so the Obama, and look at that. Who is also involved in that? The American College of Sports Medicine. Wow. Which is just a sister
to fund research into causes of obesity, but was primarily known for promoting the idea that lack of physical exercise and not bad diet was primarily responsible for the obesity pandemic. It has been characterized as an astroturfing organization. What does that mean? Astroturfing organization.
Let's find that out.
Deceptive practice of hiding sponsors of an orchestrated message or organization to make it appear as though it originates from and is supported by unsolicited grassroots participants.
Wow.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting.
So here's where Sevon is, Taylor. Getting ready to jump back on the jet. On the jet.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
And head back to Santa Cruz. Took a little last minute trip. Zach Smith signed up for Sentinel yesterday. Smart move. Smart move. If you guys are serious about your training, you should do that. Coca-Cola has been doing that since the 1930s. Like literally, they've been funding junk science, basically sitting in the halls of the CDC, the World Health Organization, lobbying as much as they can to essentially turn our public defenders into nothing more than walking shells for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you're getting all this misinformation about the freaking calories in and calories out stuff, because you still have scientists and different doctors that'll say like, oh, well, it's not necessarily the calories that you're putting into your body. It's like, well, yeah, please just drink a bunch of liquid chemicals and sugar. And we're going to all pretend that you just need to walk around the block more to combat that. Not even close. And so, yeah, people that would say, oh, well, that's crazy that Coca-Cola would do that. It's like, dude, look how much money they spent on all this type of shit before. You don't think that they would spend $200 million to shut Greg up and his whole army of doctors and CrossFitters and brick and mortar affiliates that were literally on the path to change that? And then he had the NSCA, which was tied up with the American College of Sports Medicine as well, like caught with that they were trying to slow CrossFit down. It's like, come on. It's, yeah. Oh, man.
Fucked up.
What'd she say? You fuckfaces is more important that the show goes on than Sevi's leading the show. It's important that we understand so that we all suffer together. You're about to suffer the same fate as Pat Lang and David Weed or whatever the fuck their things were. I just get defensive about everything. No, I don't think Coke owns it. I think that they basically push the valuation so high, then hand it over to the private equity company, knowing that it can never sell for more than they purchased it for. So essentially what they did is they just overvalued the company to the point that everything became completely inflated, knowing that it was just going to continuously digress, especially under the private equity company, because there's no more mission, there's no more vision, and then therefore there's no direction. So nobody knows what to do. And then at that point, you just see it fumble. And that's what we're watching that in real time right now. Because if what we were talked about before with the sale being true, the fact of like, all right, they were going to sell it. Now they're not going to sell it. And now it's all quiet. Now all these bidders came in and then they all went away. It's like, imagine having a house that you purchased for a couple $1 million. And then you put out your for sale sign on the front lawn and a year goes by and nobody buys it. And then you say, okay, we're going to drop the price to $850. And then nobody buys it. Then you go, all right, we'll entertain $750 now. And then nobody buys it. Then eventually you pull that for sale sign off the front lawn. And what are you going to do? Say, all right, let's change the paint color, maybe renovate the kitchen, and then try to put that for sale sign back out. Like, it's going to continue to drop unless they're able to really, really change some stuff around. And then at which point the private equity company would just have to make the decision of, are we just going to keep this? Are we going to fold it? Like, what are we going to do from here? And so that's why I think Coca-Cola could just slide in, dump a bunch of money into it and jump out. And there you go.
Yeah, and then their biggest adversary is gone. They don't have to worry about paying attorneys just to fight off whatever. They can keep doing what they're doing, and they don't have to pay their attorneys to fight battles against CrossFit and Greg.
Yep.
And they can just move on about their day and keep selling disgusting sugary drinks and all the other bullshit that the American people consume at an insane rate.
That's right. It's going to be shitty. Okay, now let's move into something a little more serious. What's your favorite take on the Kirk thing right now? What do you think? We have the whole Erica Kirk was behind it. What are your
I
thoughts?
I don't know about. I don't know. The whole Erica Kirk being behind it thing that bothers me. Probably
Okay.
because I can't imagine the I, I can't imagine the person that I love the most setting up my assassination and then using that as like a stepping stone to like continue my message
Mm-hmm.
into like, but I can, however, I can think somebody like a government, like a Mossad or like a government agency saying, "Oh, you don't like what we're doing over here? You think that we're just fucking around, or do you think we're just
Well, what about the whole thing? So you're looking at it as like they were just like some happy-go-lucky couple, but the evidence that I was seeing that would support that narrative would be the fact that she was an operative the whole entire time, and it was like arranged to keep
oh
control on
oh
him.
okay, hold on, I have
Yeah,
seen this,
yeah. There
so
we go.
that okay, that oh dude, that tripped me out because she was a pageant person, right?
Yep.
She
Miss
she did
Arizona.
she did yeah, Miss Arizona. She did all the beauty pageants and stuff, and then for the pageants that were run by like some Trump organization,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And then those, as she was doing pageants, she became a talent. Uh, what do they call it? Like somebody who finds talent, like
Talent
a
agency.
talent, yeah, talent
Talent
scout,
scout.
talent agency, yeah. And she was doing that also for another agency
And her dad
that
was
was
like,
associated um, with Trump or with somebody
yep.
else. And then she was working as a missionary who was trying to help orphan children in Africa. And then as she was working as a missionary for orphan children in Africa, she was also in the same vicinity of of a place where a lot of children were going missing and nobody knew where they were going.
Right. That's
And
what
so
usually happens with those type of nonprofit things that get involved with the kids, unfortunately.
yes. And I imagine like I'm not even going to try to justify that. That's fucked up. But so that's the extent of it, and that she was working for some company that was also like kidnapping children in Africa or something.
It seems very odd with the timing that would happen. I mean, it's crazy tragic, dude. You're sitting there and all of a sudden your husband just gets sniped very publicly, super graphically, and like that whole
And
situation takes place.
that's on Twitter. I scrolled Twitter for like 10 minutes, and that was the only thing I was seeing for 10 minutes straight.
It was weird how much that was. I mean, maybe they just couldn't stop it because it was just this fire hose of video of it, right?
Yep.
Like everybody was like screen recording it and reposting it.
Yep.
Kind of sick too, because everybody's just doing that for clicks and views.
100%.
And then they seem to like slow it down quite a bit. But everybody deals with tragedy a little bit differently. But it just would seem odd that this quickly she is now in the driver's seat of his show, Turning Point USA.
Right.
And the crazy thing behind that is like you have this letter that Candace Owens had talked about and then was like going to show and then wasn't going to show. And then it came out and essentially was Charlie Kirk saying to Netanyahu and that group that, hey, if you guys want to fight this battle, you need to do it via social media, especially TikTok. Why? Because it skews younger generation. And it's a far more popular platform than the other ones in terms of like trajectory of growth over time with that younger generation. And that's where you need to fight the fight. You need to stop the anti-Semitism that's happening in there, and you need to change and control the narrative. Okay, right. So that letter comes out after he gets assassinated. Then his wife jumps into the driver's seat immediately after this happens. And then what happens? Larry Ellison buys TikTok. And who
the
is he
Oracle guy, right?
The Oracle guy. and I forget exactly what it is, like his brother or something like that also owns the media conglomerate that owns like HBO, the UFC, ABC, Fox News. So then you take all of that and then you buy TikTok, and now essentially you have a whole entire media conglomerate that is being controlled by a foreign entity. Now, it was with China before, but Netanyahu just came out. These were his words where he said, hey, we need to control the narrative. There's a whole entire right woke. That's what he used. White woke, different than the left woke, that are pushing all these lies about Israel and everything else. Now, that happens right at the time of the whole entire world saying, hey, we're looking into this Gaza situation and we're thinking this ain't cool anymore. It's seeming way more like a genocide than it is you guys just fighting some terrorists. And so you take all those different entities at one time and you could really see the motive that would be behind Netanyahu and that cohort of people to want to control. Like imagine if Xi Jinping came out and said, yeah, we had TikTok because people were becoming anti-Chinese communists. They were going against the CCP. And so what we need to do to combat that isn't necessarily like it's not a kinetic war. It's a war of the mind. So anything that comes out about China, especially back in 1989, when you had this mass protest for pro-democracy and pro-free speech, and what happened? The Chinese government showed up, the military did, and just started gunning them down.
Right.
They try to just suppress that as much as possible. So they say, oh, well, now in the US, they're talking about that too much. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and just suppress it because we don't want people to have a narrative that's against the CCP. So since we own this media, oh, by the way, we own your HBOs, your ABCs, your Fox News, the UFC. We own all of these as well. And we're just going to make sure we stamp that out.
What I also
crazy.
found was that I don't know if they did that. I don't know why they would have done this, but they posted the White House posted a picture recently of Netanyahu on the phone, allegedly calling Qatar, like whoever the leader of Qatar was, to apologize for firing a bunch of rockets at Qatar.
Holy shit!
Which is also like very close to a bunch of Americans.
It's
but I thought that was it was almost as if you could perceive it as like, oh, look, Trump is in control of Netanyahu. He can he's telling a leader of a nation that he needs to call another leader and apologize. Like, look, like I'm in control here, blah, blah, like that kind of thing. So everybody stops thinking that, oh, Netanyahu is actually puppeteering a lot of shit that we actually believe that he is. But now the American people can kind of perceive that we hold some sort of power over them, which I thought that was kind of a sleight of hand almost.
It's the need to protect that foreign entity. And the reason why I'm saying that and not using names is because too many people start to rush and just go to like tribalism and grouping everybody together. And I think that that's the worst thing that you could do, because then it conflates the issue so much and everybody goes to their sides, right? But to think that a foreign entity should have that much say over American politics and we should care that much about it is very odd to me. You have to ask why. Why do we need to be protective? Why do we need to dump all of our money, our tax dollars, into protecting that, even though it's coming out now that the world is not agreeing with their actions? It seems a little strange. Clive, some of y'all haven't lost a close family member yet, and it shows. There is no grieving person who goes weeks after a death without smiling or joking. It's not smiling or joking, Clive. And I do appreciate the point there, because as I said when I was starting that conversation, is that everybody kind of handles grief differently. Like some people just shell up and want to just go hide away, and other people just want to kind of not bury it, but just kind of move on. So that way they keep themselves moving. Some people find no humor in things for a while and it takes them a bit. And some other people, it doesn't. They want to joke and try to smile and laugh and do all that right away. The thing that just seems weird to me is how quickly all these other things are happening in the background. and how fast it was just like, okay, cool. Here's the new plan, and now we're moving forward.
Do you think
And
that
she has to be at the forefront of it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think that that it's happening for them because he already had such a large team behind him? Like I imagine they probably had a PR person,
Yeah.
that is seeing this as like they're zoomed out, like 10,000-foot view kind of thing, and they're seeing this. Oh, this is an opportunity for us to really make a difference and like hammer home this logical thinking kind of like whatever conversation. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
so I wonder, they must have pushed hard enough, or they must have kind of figured out like, hey, we need to do something with this so that we're not like scrambling, or like we're not losing out on this momentum kind of thing.
I would really be surprised that they didn't already have those contingency plans in place. Like there has to be some sort of succession there, because the show was so big. It was taking on, I mean, I think it was something in like 80 million, 85 million, or close to 100 million, if not more than 100 million in revenue that it was taking in. Its influence and power was very obvious. And it was, in my opinion, it was just getting started. Like Charlie Kirk was going to be another, 20-year, 30-year run. Easily could have seen him run for president and have a lot of influence with that now younger generation, but then older generation. So I'm just really surprised they didn't have a complete succession plan in place already. And he wasn't kind of, for lack of better words, grooming that next person that was going to come up. Nowhere in there was his wife, at least not publicly to us. Like I didn't follow Kirk very closely, but I knew he had a wife and kids, stuff like that, but I had never seen her before. I'd never heard anything about it before. I just thought that he was, it was just him. And I didn't realize how close she was, I guess, to being able to step into his shoes, so to speak. But again, for me, it's not necessarily that, because who knows too, that might be her grieving process, to Clive's point. Maybe she was just like, I want to continue my husband's dream and
pick up
like
the cross and carry it further and continue that message. Yeah,
exactly. So that very much could have been the case there. Someone is getting bent over.
Oh, really?
That's great. Matt's getting black pilled. I can't keep up with all the pills that I'm getting. So there's red pill, right? What's that? What's black pilled?
Black pilled? I think.
Do you know what black pilled is? I don't know what black pilled is.
The only pill I know is an orange Tesla.
If you get that one, then how is Tyler not on this? Yeah, we should have. That was my mistake. I should have invited Tyler on this later, dude. He'd have been great for this show. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. I mean, Tyler, I'm sorry.
You want to come on now, Tyler?
Think about it send him a link. I got like 17 more minutes. If you're ready, you could jump on. Can you send him one? How do you send him a link?
I'll text it to him, yeah.
All right. If you're ready, dude, jump on. We're going to hang out here till about 8 o'clock. Black pilled. Oh, shit. Breaking news. The Diddy sentence is today.
Oh, shit.
What's he sentencing for? Oh, here we go. Thank you, Craig. Black pill is basically everything is gloom and doom, nihilism. Oh, man. Dude. I don't want that.
I went down that rabbit hole for a while, and that's like, eventually, if you just start saying nothing matters enough, well, I might as well just be dead. And that is a rough hole to go down.
I was hoping like the black pill was going to be something to do with like the financial markets or something like that, not just nihilism. Somebody, who was it up here that said, I'm just worried about, oh yeah, Steven Jackson. Here we go. Oh yes, there he is.
Nice.
Add to the stage.
What the fuck, dude? I'm offended.
I know. Sorry. Like last night, I realized I was doing this show after I set up all the stuff to test the pep link in the gym. And then I kept it all here. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll just show up and hammer the show out and do it from here. So, okay. Have you been watching a little bit the last?
No, I got out of a meeting and turned it on and I was like, what the hell?
So we were just discussing the fact of like, a couple of things that are happening in the background with this Charlie Kirk situation that happened quick. And if you're following it, Candace Owens had said that there was like some letter that Charlie like sent out to Netanyahu and those guys, or whatever is Ben something, I forget his last name, which was that billionaire guy that was involved with Kirk or was trying to become a donor of it. And then right after that, you see Netanyahu come out and basically say like, hey, we need to fight the war of the mind with the younger generation. And I'm super stoked that Larry Ellison is buying TikTok because now we have this right woke, which is different than the left woke, but we need to eventually like stamp out any anti-Semitism or hate towards Israel, and we're going to do it by controlling the media. So now you're
It's
caught
funny.
up.
When I heard BB say that, I was like, I don't disagree, but I dislike how you're putting it.
Yeah.
Also, the interesting thing about this whole ordeal is that the Charlie Kirk episode with PBD got taken down, and then PBD called the UVU, the university, about the construction that was going on. Basically, got blackballed the whole time. Was like, no, we're not fucking answering your questions. PBD, like, I'm not saying PBD can go toe to toe with whoever is pulling some strings, but like that's a force I don't want to screw with.
I mean, he's very strategic. He's very well connected, and clearly he has a lot of resources. I mean, that airport that he bought that his office out of is like the craziest, most badass thing ever. That the construction thing is also, again, it's so I was talking about this with Sevon. It's like it's hard not to go down this rabbit hole because like if you and I have there's $20 on the counter and you leave the room real quick and the $20 is gone and you're like, hey, did you take my $20? And I'm like, no. And you're like, well, where were the clothes you were just wearing? I'm like, they're in the wash. And you're like, right now the $20 is gone. You just threw the clothes in the wash. And I'm like, yeah, but a bird came in, I think, and like maybe the bird took the $20. And you're like, what are the odds of a bird flying in right now when my $20 is gone? I'm like, I don't know, but I left the door open. And you're like, well, who opened the door? It wasn't. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. Crazy things happen, dude. It's wild.
Yeah, so all of a sudden you have all this weird stuff that happens to line up right with that.
Oddly. If you want to just distract, like it's all distraction. Like if something bad happens and you don't want to get caught, just cause a bunch of other issues. So it's like,
right.
I don't know, dude.
The $20 is gone, but you just see that truck just got egged over there, and that lady's outside screaming. Isn't that weird?
There's a homeless guy taking a shit on a fucking desk.
Yeah,
hey,
it's the
thing,
timing
like,
of all of it seems really weird.
We just keep dropping stuff too. It's like, what happened to the plane? We just stopped talking about the plane.
The one that went south? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the one that disappeared and then came back.
Apparently,
I thought that was a business dude. That was some business dude that went to fly down there with his family or something, and I guess he came out with a statement that said that, hey, that's quit bothering me.
It's like, dude, I was just chilling.
I'm existing. Just leave me alone.
Yeah. And a lot of them are going to be complete BS. Like one of the funniest ones was Savannah and I were watching it in a real time. We like saw the new conspiracy, then we saw it get like debunked, but it was like some guy in a suit that was like wearing a full black suit that day when it was like super hot and like ran off. Right. And somebody was like, look, you could see the type of strap that was in his bag and it's attached to an AR. Strap. Yeah. And look, he's got a glove on and he's like, dude, I have a prosthetic and this is my camera strap. I just liked it for my camera. And I really like Charlie Kirk. So I wanted to wear a suit to like show respect. And he's like sitting there the whole time. And they're like, okay. So maybe it wasn't that guy. But like you also have all these other narratives and storylines that are coming out at the same, like the old dude who was yelling like shoot me whatever, and it turned out that he was also around during 9/11.
Two of those guys. There's just
two
one.
of them.
There's two of them.
Ooh.
See, like what the hell, man?
Crisis actors.
Oh well, yeah.
Is that what we call those people? Crisis actors.
Idiots.
Oh man. Idiots. The crazy thing is, who is the lady that was with Charlie? Oh
Erica?
Boy, we don't even.
Oh, what lady?
I'm not sure about the lady, but so there's camera footage from behind Charlie.
Yep.
That no one can get a hold of, that all of a sudden disappeared. That Turning Point has, and they're like, oh, I don't know, dude. Somebody walked off with the camera and now it's gone.
Oh, they're saying that they don't have it.
Oh, yeah. I remember like I saw a video of somebody taking that camera down.
Holy,
like
there's a chick.
What is
Chick with Tyler.
not with Charlie, with Tyler?
I'm so confused. What?
Who is the lady with Tyler? We don't. Tavon, you're throwing a wrench into here. Are you?
Yeah, you're really fucking this up, dude.
Are you behind on the
Get
show?
on your
Let's-
private jet and go home. Jesus.
Move to Santa Cruz where life is great.
Move to Santa Cruz.
So Savon and I were talking about that too, because I could have seen like all of us being in shock after something like that happens, and you have the normal crew that's just taking down everything as we normally take everything down. So
Right.
to me at first, when I saw that, I was like, it didn't really raise like a red flag, so to speak, because I was like, dude, I could
nice ass
just
camera.
I could just see me being like, I don't know
My
what
stuff!
the hell happened. I'm just taking, like, you're just like mindlessly going through the routine that guy's probably done hundreds of times, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
But now to hear that, like, Turning Point USA is saying we don't have the footage. Oh,
Think
man.
about this. You remember the pagers?
Yes.
Are you talking about his exploding mic theory?
Yes. You know, like these are like probably the size of a pager.
Oh, shit.
So I just
Sick call. Hold
like
on.
this. I mean, like you can
There's no way you can get enough charge in that for it to explode.
That's what you think.
shut the you.
Call it.
I'm explosively trained, Caleb.
So am I.
Are we there? Hello, can you hear me?
Your butthole's explosively trained.
Years,
Hey.
years.
Whoa,
Are you guys got cell service on that jet?
Yeah. Hey, listen, this is what I'm hearing. I'm a little behind because I stopped to fucking crack a coffee. But here, this is what Candace is saying.
Okay.
Basically, those 3 cameras that were on Charlie Kirk, normally there's 4 HD cameras on Charlie Kirk, but this time there were only 3. 2 of them were basically pointed at the crowd, and one was two were pointed at the crowd. One of them included him in the shot from behind, and then one was directly pointed at him.
Mhm.
All of that footage was given to the FBI, and they did not make a copy of it before they gave it to the FBI.
Mm.
She also played yesterday or the day before. There's this guy, and I'm going to get some of these details messed up, but there's a guy named Lehman or
50%
something.
facts.
I think he ran for governor of Utah.
Okay.
This guy
Wait,
ran
what's
for
his
governor
last
of
name?
Utah, and his family, Lyman or something.
Okay.
He's been on a bunch of shows. A white guy, looks like a pedo, and basically his family owns like 8 homes on the street where that Ring camera filmed Tyler, right?
Oh,
And his family
Tyler.
in that home with the Ring camera that filmed Tyler was his aunt's house.
What?
Oh,
But the family also owns like 8 other homes on that street. Anyway, so that Ring
weird.
camera footage, Candace was getting notifications or tips saying that, hey, they cut that camera footage short, and in that footage there's actually Tyler or whoever that is in the footage conspiring with a woman. Some woman is giving them things. So she was hearing rumors about that. Well, then she went back, and that guy who ran for governor that I'm telling you his family owns like 8 homes on the street,
Yep.
his nephew and the aunt re-walked the footsteps of the murderer, whoever it was, Tyler Robinson or whoever,
Yep.
re-walked the footsteps of the murderer, and they put it on Instagram. And while they're walking, and then Candace actually plays this footage on her show, you hear the lady, the aunt, say, well, hey, did we ever find out who that woman was who was with Tyler? And then you hear someone on the camera say, hey, I'm filming right now.
Oh,
Meaning,
wow.
Shut the fuck up. So now
know
she
about
had a
that.
crazy tip that someone's like, hey, man. Yeah, so that just came out like yesterday. So basically, in my mind, the dominant. Oh, and then the other information is this: that they did do an autopsy on him, which of course they did,
Yeah.
and they did find a bullet in his neck. But the bullet, it does not make sense that they haven't told us what kind of bullet it was,
Okay.
but it doesn't make sense if it was a 30-06.
Right.
So that's kind of like I don't know what's true and not true, but that's
Yeah.
the information that I'm going with in my
Did
head
you-
that's true for now.
wow.
Did
The-
you watch the ballistics guy? There was some ballistics guy that was like, your whole like neck face, everything would have exploded if it would have been a 30-06, which made sense to
Right.
me when I first heard it. I was like, there's no way it was a 30-06.
From 200 feet, or was it 200 feet, 200 yards
200
or
feet,
something?
200
200
yards.
yards.
Damn.
And
The
it
Yeah,
lady-
they
didn't
said
pass,
there's
it
two
didn't
different
pass
kinds of
through
bullets
anything
that
either.
are 30-06.
And a what?
It says there's two different kind of bullets that are 30-06. One of them has like a blunted end, which would have exploded his whole neck and head.
Yep.
And then the other one that I guess has a sharp tip would have just gone through. So
Sure.
either way, it doesn't make sense.
Wow.
But they did find the used casing in his gun, in the gun, which doesn't mean anything. He could have shot it somewhere else or
Shot it into that
or
tree that
whatever.
we found.
And then the
gun next to.
family is. And then I was reading the grandmother speaking up, Tyler's grandmother speaking up, saying there's no fucking way he did it. And of course, it's the grandmother, but she goes on in detail that he's not that kid, and that the entire family is fucking MAGA.
Hey, hear
Then,
me out.
dude, if I did some crazy shit and they talked to my grandma, she would say the same fucking thing, dude.
If
Fair
you're,
enough.
if you're
Fair
his
enough,
dad
Taylor, fair
and you
enough.
sold him out, if my family sold me out, I don't give a shit if I murdered the most important person in the world. If my family sold me out, I would figure out a way to get out of prison and kill them because you're breaking so many rules.
that would really be the
that
black
extends
pill
to
right there.
friends as well.
I'm coming
Miles.
for you.
Hey, how about? Hey, you want to go to a really, really hot topic?
Yeah.
They're
Please.
about to do the Diddy sentencing,
Yeah.
Odd.
and
Weird.
and they're showing that footage of where he supposedly beat Cassidy in the hotel room. I want
Yes.
you guys, if you guys see that footage, ask me if she's getting beaten.
I mean, you're talking about when he
You
comes
guys
out in
have
the
all seen
towel. Why?
Grabbing, yeah, grabs her by the back of the jacket, throws
Yeah.
her on the ground,
Right.
and then kicks her with about 10% effort, and the tip of his foot skims her butt.
What's the
And the,
implication
and the
there?
press
What
keeps saying,
do you say? What do you?
well, that's not even part of the case, which is crazy. He's not even being charged for that. But my point is once again, do you believe your what they're telling you, or do you believe your eyes?
I believe
Like, hey, he
nothing.
definitely, that footage is not a man beating a woman. There's no, we've seen. I can go on Instagram and show you what it looks like when someone gets beaten.
Yeah, well, we've seen it. You just got to look
He
at
threw
the
her on the
NFL
ground by the
people,
back of her jacket and kicked her in the butt. Yeah.
right? Here's something that is.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, we're watching it
I know
right
that's
now.
a hot take. No one likes to see.
Well-
no one likes to see a girl get thrown on the ground and kicked.
I
in the
don't
butt.
know.
But
That
he
is not a
barely.
beating.
I mean, listen, I don't.
Barely kicks her in the butt.
Here's the problem with that though, right? Because he still was like crazy aggressive with her, and that's still like a assault. That's still a violent act of assault.
I agree,
so,
but it's
but-
not a beating.
But your point to it is like when we've seen these like stuff when it's come out with like NFL players that have just cocked back and just bam hit their wife or their girlfriend or something, and you're like, holy shit,
Isn't
right?
he like 5'6" though?
He's tiny.
So what? So
Hey, I love
Man.
Dana White, and I know his wife hit him first, but when he slapped her, it was harder than what Diddy
Oh,
did.
he's-
to her.
that I was
Five-
actually going to
five-
say that too. Yeah. He smacked her harder than what just took place there. So what do you think that is then? That's like some sort of what? Like he just did that on
Just the
like, on
media. You
accident,
just got to
right?
trust what you. No, you just got to trust what you see, versus. I mean, me and I had a sister, and my sister used to fucking put the smack down on me way harder than what Diddy did to
Yeah.
Cassidy.
No,
You
so
deserved
they're
it.
basically just
And
using
hey,
that. to
Tima,
qua-
don't say I'm justifying it. I know Tima's probably in the comments getting ready to type something up. There he goes, defending the blah, blah, blah.
Here we go.
Nah,
No,
I'm just
but
telling you the truth.
so
He's just trying to
do
get some
She
street cred.
wasn't hit by a van. She was hit by a go-kart. That's all I'm saying.
so let me put this together. So you're basically saying that that video is basically something that they're just using to kind of push this narrative because it's the closest thing that they have to the accusations being made against him.
Who knows? That's not even part of the case, which is what's amazing. This morning, Fox did a whole montage of Diddy showing him like playing with his kids and giving money away. They played. I thought Fox did a great job. They also showed that footage, but they also showed like what a good guy is. They talked about how he found God in jail.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
I
That
do too.
man.
God's always hanging out in the jails.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing. That's
Usually selling crack. It's weird.
so wild to me.
Oh,
right when
shit.
Bubba pushes fucking 9 inches of cock into your butt, Jesus shows up. And you're
Well,
like, "Want another
he
roof?"
does probably have his name screamed a lot, so maybe that's why. Oh
One
God! Oh
thing-
God!
Before we move too far away from the Charlie thing, the one
Yeah.
I thought about this last night, and I was like, I bet Sevon would recognize with this. There's how many hundreds of people, thousands of people at this thing, and I'm one of those guys. When I'm at an event like that, I am not looking at Charlie at all. I'm looking at everything else.
Yeah, heads on a
No
swivel.
one saw anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one saw anything. They're
Yeah.
all just looking at Charlie. No.
The problem
Well-
is though, dude, when so I was young and there was like a fight gonna break out at this fair. I think I might have told this story before, and it was at the Alameda County Fair in like 1998. You guys can look it up. And there was a fight that was about to break out, and I was actually getting caught candy with my uncle and my dad and brother. And they're kind of like keeping an eye on it because a crowd's starting to form and these guys are getting pushy and chubby. And next thing you know, somebody pulls out a gun, another guy pulls out a gun, and they just start shooting rapidly into the crowd. Like you would have thought they would have shot each other, but they were just like a bam, 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 bam. The whole place descended into chaos so fast that the first like thing you think about is like, is this actually even happening? Right. And then afterwards, as everybody's running and we're trying to figure out our exit out of that area, out of the fair, there's a lot of stuff that happens to where as you're like replaying it back in your mind, everything was moving so quickly that you're kind of like, fuck, did that part happen? Or did I just imagine that part happening? There was another situation a few years back where I was driving down a road and there was a guy that was on the wrong side of the road coming at me. And I like switched lanes and then he passed me. And it even took me a minute to be like, what the fuck, dude? Was that guy on the wrong side of the road? Like, so I think that when events like that happen and something as crazy as tragic as it is, like you'd be surprised how many people's minds just get jumbled and they can't really remember, or it's just kind of a blur and shit like that.
Well, I think people just get into big groups and they just stop thinking. They just start following along with what other people are doing. Like I do the same thing, Tyler. I went to the College World Series this year and we just went to like the little festival thing and we walked around and you just start looking at rooftops, and every rooftop you see sheriff's department, like somebody set up in a sniper hide all over the place, just like doing some sort of overwatch across the whole place. But everybody else, you start looking at everybody, their heads are down, looking at their phones, they're looking at some merchandise, they're trying to find their kids, like, and then you put a group like that and they're like everything, it's like an auditorium or a coliseum or whatever, and you have everybody looking in one direction. Nobody's looking up. That's just like it's like a fucking herd mentality thing that they start doing.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, I know that there had to have been people there like myself. Is like, I'm probably not going, like the Charlie Kirk thing.
For
like
sure.
I would go to watch Charlie, but
Yeah.
like I just go because it would be like there's an interesting thing happening. There's a lot of volatility going on before
Yep.
Charlie gets shot. I'm just gonna go to people observe. I know I'm not the only person like that would have been in that crowd.
Yeah.
And so it just seems very odd to me that usually you hear like when JFK got shot, it was like, 800 people said, oh, I saw this person over here in the bushes. I saw this guy over here.
Yep.
We've got no other theory than Tyler from anybody that was there.
Yeah, or at least at this point, do you think that there was other theories and they've been silenced and some of those other people are just now afraid to even say anything, right? Because I don't know if you guys saw the footage, but there was a guy who was doing like an interview, a younger kid in the hallway, like right after it had happened. And he went to kind of go tell his side of the story. And a bunch of people just kind of came over like, don't. He's like, get off me, get off me. And so like it could just be a situation of, shit, if I saw something with how crazy this whole thing is, like, are you thinking like, I ain't gonna say shit because I don't want them to come after me, right? So
just the hassle of like, oh, now I got to deal with attorneys or I got to deal with the police. Like, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody.
Sevon made that point. It's like, hey, if you're there and you're obviously gonna share whatever footage you have with the FBI, I'm not opening up that wormhole. I don't want to be involved. There's no way. Unless what I've got is gold, I'm not sharing it with them.
Yeah.
It's like 1,800 other people are going to have something. And it's like, they're not going to get anything new from me unless I think this is truly like sets a whole different precedent.
Right. I think it's disappointing that Charlie has an executive protection team around him and they like obvious,
Didn't do
like
their
and
job.
that I know there's one guy for sure that I see in the back of every single one of his videos, and I know
Yeah.
he's looking out at the crowd, and I know he's not looking here, he's looking up and he's looking around, he's scanning everything, and he missed that. And now that
Yep.
guy has to carry his casket to the funeral. It's like, dude, that was literally your only job,
Yeah.
and your protectee is now dead
Why?
because you weren't paying. You missed it.
Why do you think so? You got to look at the players. The Israel one is the one a lot of people are talking about. There's the left, which the other, everybody else is talking about, and then there's the Turning Point. Like Turning Point wanted him dead. Okay, what is the incentive for Turning Point actually wanting? That's the one I can't figure out. It's like, okay, so they can put Erica in front.
Is she
Well,
actually better than
maybe-
Charlie?
Maybe so that way they can control it more. And I mean, that's a pretty wild statement to make, right? Because like that's going through some extreme measures to try to control that narrative. But what's your take, Tyler? And then I gotta jump off here in a minute. But like, what is your take around the sale of TikTok and like Netanyahu coming out and saying what he said right around this whole entire time with the Kirk thing? And we know that there's some involvement with that because of the letter that he wrote to them.
What's the validity of the 150 million? Because Turning Point was worth 130 before Charlie was shot. Supposedly, Israel. Do you know what I'm talking about? Israel was going to give them $150 million.
Yeah, that I forget his last name, but I think the first name was Ben, right? Was it like Ben Altman or something like that? Yeah, who apparently was making the deal with Charlie. And I think the current stuff was like Charlie had refused the deal or basically was saying, no, I can't do that. And then this took place. But before that, the letter apparently that Charlie wrote to them was like, hey, look, you guys are losing here. You need to be on social media. You need to be controlling the narrative. You need to be putting out a bunch of stuff to refute all this thing that's coming back in because you guys are losing in the minds of the American people right now.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of the general broad brush stroke of it. And then you have this situation now where TikTok goes for sale and it gets sold to Larry Ellison, who we know is like involved with I think his brother owns like the whole other media conglomerate that owns like the ABCs, the Fox, the HBOs, the Paramount, the UFC, all of those things. And to say that, to have that letter go out, to have that purchase happen, to have Netanyahu say what he's saying, and then literally they come out and say like, hey, we're not going to be tolerating any anti-Semitism on TikTok anymore. It's like, it just lines up very perfectly with them being able to control the narrative.
I can't remember what. There's somebody that has like a take on
Skydance. Thank you, CrossFit. Sorry.
This one makes me nervous to talk about, I guess, is because so like we're proof of the counter, which is like you can say whatever you want. Good ideas and good thoughts always prevail, right?
Right.
And that's sort of the American spirit and the American mind behind speech. And to see Israel saying, yeah, like we want to control that and anti-Semitism doesn't have a place. It's like there's always going to be speech that's hateful and mean, but at the end of the day, it's just speech. Compelling people to say one thing often has the opposite effect in which you want. Look at what happened with Wadapalooza. Like we just bashed that whole thing for years because they compelled us to say it. And it's like I don't want to talk about what it could mean, but it's not a positive sign in my brain.
All right. And on that note, that will be our show for today. Thank you for joining the Conspiracy Hour. Tyler, I will not slip up and have you here at the beginning. It kind of came together last minute, but maybe we'll find a time to make it a regular thing.
No, it's all good.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you. Everybody who is listening, we appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And remember to keep your eyes wide open and don't always believe them. Don't get blackpilled because what does PBD always say? The future looks bright. And I believe that to be true. So be good to each other out there. Have a great day. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Kill Taylor. New time, new sponsor, new revamp. Like and subscribe.
But we're revamping again.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Erica Kirk's going to